shameless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
Welcome to the One Pride Podcast, so we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. And folks, we got a hell of a show for you today. We actually got somebody that has hair. He needs guardian alarm around his waist because the women are chasing him. We got Jeff Iafrate here from Woodward Sports. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I like the setup, man, and I'm just honored. I got her hair back. I'm with Mike, dude. Everything's coming together at a perfect time. Everything's coming together.
Just perfect. Perfect coming back. The hair's all gelled, not bald anymore. Even though I loved having that as my backdrop, I thought it was great with the heart around it. Nothing but love. And we got a lot of people in the building right now, man. Look at this. We got Weston Lion, Mike Brandt. We also got Grandizer Dragon in the building. Hi, I'm me. Crazy name there. Eric Minion, Chrome, all in the building. Ready to talk some Detroit Lions with Big D73 and Jamie Butcher. Man, just stay away from me, dog. I don't want to get butchered there. And P Blues. Jeff. A crazy signing happened yesterday. A former Lion comes back. Marvin Jones Jr., wide receiver. What are your thoughts on him coming to the D?
I love it. Well, first off, we'll start with the financials. A 1 year, $3 million deal with incentives to get to $5 million. I mean, I'm all for it. And on top of that, it's a great depth move. I mean, you're looking for a DJ Chark replacement. And although Marvin Jones physically and how he plays at the wide receiver position, he's not DJ Chark, but what he is great depth and a mentorship in a very young wide receiver room. It got younger now without DJ Chark. Now you're going to have Jameson Williams this year. So I love the move. I've always loved Marvin Jones, even when he was a Lion, and somebody that you can just rely on. Like, right, it's 3rd and 7. You need a big catch from somebody. Well, now you got Marvin Jones. He's not the same Marvin Jones he was in Detroit, but still, I think he'll still be somewhat productive, especially for 1 year, $3 million.
Oh, hell yeah. And another hell yeah is Anthony Rukinski just became a member of the channel. Wood League, thank you so much. You are a real one, no doubt about it. Show some love to him in the chat. And what's crazy, we think about Marvin Jones Jr., 33, he nearly had the same identical stats as DJ Chark. He nearly did, and without the ankle injury.
And that's the big thing, too, with Jones, is if you talk about durability, even at his age, you go through his entire career, he's played in a majority of these seasons. He's not injured very often. So, again, it goes back to that dependability. He's going to be healthy. Unlike DJ, listen, DJ's more talented, but to your point, Mike, I mean, even last year, he missed a majority of the season with that ankle injury. So, listen, Marvin Jones, it's low risk, but I'm not even going to say high reward, but it's a good enough reward to be worthwhile. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I think it's good also for Jameson Williams. You're having a veteran in here. You know, we heard a little bit, is Jameson Williams, is he kind of childish a little bit? You get a Marvin Jones Jr. in here, 33. The guy's a pro's pro on the field, off the field. The guy can sing, family, all of that. I think he's a great mentor for a Jameson Williams to take his game to the next level, because it's hard to be productive at 33 in this game and the way that he plays. He's not the biggest guy in the world, Marvin Jones Jr., but yet he's always on the field. He's never injured. The guy just knows how to get it done.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, I mean, for Marvin Jones, he can dance. I'll add that in. So he's got the moves. But more so, even going back, I mean, this has been a common theme, too. Like, you could reference back last year when the Lions completely decimated the Jags. It looked like Marvin Jones was looking across the field like, hey, yeah, I would like to return back. It's an attractive culture. And the fact that, guys like Marvin Jones, a veteran who I'm sure had somewhat of a market, the fact that he chose to come back to Detroit too means something. I mean, I know he played here, but just the fact that Detroit's becoming more and more an attractive free agency destination, obviously with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being another one, arguably the best or one of the best free agents available. I think it just speaks to what the Lions are building with attracting free agents.
In the comment section right now, grade this signing A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know your thoughts. Jeff, what would you give it a grade? What is your thoughts on bringing him for 1 year, $3 million with $5 million up to incentives?
So if I go off the contract, the risk, the productivity, I would give it an A, honestly. There's little risk in this involved. And I think if you paid him more money, we'd have a little different conversation. But for what he was given and who Marvin Jones is, I would give it an A. I mean, it's a great deal.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. We needed to get another wide receiver, and he literally does exactly what I wanted. Someone that's dependable. It's not necessarily the big yards, right? But those 3rd down and 5s. If you got to throw it, I'm pretty damn sure if it gets in his radius, he's going to catch it. That's what he is. He's not like he was when he's a kid. Younger at 20 years old, but he's very good and reliable, and that's what we want. And it also gives the Detroit Lions still more options in the NFL draft, right? If they want to get a developmental wide receiver, they can in round 5 or 6. They don't have to be force-pressed to get a wide receiver in round 1 or 2 or 3. Thoughts on the draft when it comes to Marvin Jones and how it gives him flexibility?
No, you're spot on. It does. And I've talked to some people that really believe or still believe the Lions should take a wide receiver in the first round, which is to me is the complete opposite of what I want. Now, everyone, this is the great thing about draft time is you can have these conversations. No to a wide receiver in the first round, but to your point, if you want to take one later in the draft, a Bryce Ford Wheaton, A.T. Perry, there's a lot of options there, then you could still do that. If you're looking for a prototypical 6'4", big body receiver who can stretch the field, they can still do that. But if they don't, you still have Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond. I mean, now you get Marvin Jones. You're not pressured to take a wide receiver. I mean, you go back last year, the Lions had a top 5 offense with DJ Chark out for a majority of the year, with Jameson Williams not there for a majority of the year. Like, they had Khalif, Reynolds, like guys playing significant snaps, and they were still a productive offense. And that was without TJ. That was post TJ. So, again, it really doesn't put as much pressure on them, but it's always good. You can never really have too many weapons. Never. Especially for Jared Goff.
Magic says B+, A- by Dragon. We got a B, A+, B, A, B, 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 B+, A+++++. A lot of people's liking it. This is a different free agency so far that we've seen this year under Brad Holmes than we've seen in years past. What was your initial reaction when we got C.J. Gardner-Johnson? I was laid on my bed. I think it was 9:45. And my wife says, they just signed a guy called C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I got up. I said, yeah, because I said it a week earlier. The Lions are looking to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He fills a massive need, a turnover machine. This is what I love about this guy. Turnovers. And every time we won games last year, we won the turnover battle. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, did you go in your pants when we signed him? What was your initial thoughts when we got him?
Well, yeah, he definitely made me feel some feelings, especially when it was late at night. I mean, listen, you're chilling in bed, you're thinking about the Lions, as I always do before bed, and then you see the CJ news. And honestly, it's significant for a couple different reasons. Number one, I never even thought it was plausible, so I give you credit because I didn't think the Lions were going to be able to afford him. And then you saw the market kind of shape out, and he didn't sign immediately. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And Brad admitted it. They were calling him, his agent, every day after driving home, like, hey, what's going on? What's the deals looking like? And the fact that they were able to land CJ, I get the history with Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell, but for a guy who you could make an argument, and I believe is the second best safety in the National Football League, you can make an argument the best available free agent. I mean, it's a splash, and you don't even have to pay big money for him. It's a 1-year deal, and you get to address the nickel, which was a problem last year. CJ can come right in, play the nickel for you. He's basically a jack of all trades in your secondary. You can move him around. He's productive, to your point, and a player that the Eagles, they offered him a 3-year deal. I know he didn't like how the deal was, purposed or how it was set up, but still, the fact that the Lions can attract a free agent like this, Mike, it's different, and you know this better than anybody. This is different. And the fact that free agents are looking at the Lions and going, okay, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, Aaron Glenn, these connections, and it's attractive to them, it's absurd. So it was significant for a lot of different reasons. And the money's great. I mean, come on. 1 year, that amount of money, and you might be able to re-sign them because you have cap space next year. Give me it all, Mike. I love it.
That's the one I didn't get. The money, I could not believe that. It was crazy the amount that they got him for. Super cheap deal.
And Mike, too. Think about it. When do free agents come take flyer deals with the Lions? The last two seasons, you have Chark, Moseley, and now you have Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Guys taking 1-year deals because they think they could play well in Detroit. It's hard to get used to.
It's hard to get used to. It's like, the Lions are a culture fit now for this player. You're hearing this with Jalen Carter and other players. Will you go to Detroit for a culture fit? I'm like, what the hell? Did I just wake up from a dream? This is crazy because I've been a Lions fan for a long-ass time, and I don't remember all of this happening. And I see you in there, Rustin. I know a lot of people thought it was clickbait. It ain't clickbait. I don't do clickbait unless I get fooled to who tells me stuff, right? I'm not going to sit there and just put stuff out there to just put stuff out there unless I'm being told or something comes up. That was an amazing. I think the most underrated signing to me, though, Emmanuel Moseley. This guy was a stud. And if he can come back to form after injury, my God. I mean, you're talking about having Moseley, Sutton, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Oh, Lord, man. What do you think about him?
Love it. Honestly, quite frankly, if he didn't get injured, you wouldn't have been able to sign him. Like, he would have gotten a deal elsewhere. But the fact that he was injured, and Brad mentioned that, super productive. He was having a great season up until his injury as well. And again, going back to the same point, the fact that he's coming off an injury, which people are going to throw their Brad Holmes jokes out there for someone coming off an injury. But the signing is great. He'll be ready by by the season, and it's somebody that, you look at Brad and you look how he's kind of fixed different holes in this team. He does it very quickly, which is honestly, you've seen him do it over the last couple seasons, right? Yeah. First time he comes in, he immediately goes to the offensive line, the defensive line. He builds from the trenches. The following season, now you're bringing in a wide receiver. You're bringing in an edge rusher. You're kind of building a defensive line. They set record numbers last year for what they did with the rookies on the defensive line. And now this year they revamped the secondary. That's how a good general manager operates. You quickly identify holes and weaknesses, and you pivot, and you fix those holes. And he's done them very quickly. So for Emmanuel Moseley, again, risk-free, non-committal. Like, if this was, Bob Quinn, I keep using him, you would have thrown a big deal at somebody like an Emmanuel Moseley. Brad goes, here's a 1-year deal. If they have an opportunity to re-sign him, they will if he plays well. But if he doesn't, you could just let him go. It's a risk-free deal for a corner who, before his injury, Mike, was playing at an extreme level. So all credit to Brad. It's a great signing.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Great signing, and it's fantastic for the Lions defense that needed that help in the secondary. We got a $5 super from my guy Devin Davis with a lot of the holes fixed. We love filling holes. Clogger, what's still a need to fill from the draft? Thank you for the $5 super. Look, Brad Holmes, and he's getting big, too. I don't know about you. You can see his big old arms. He's starting to dang. So he's starting to really fill holes. If that's getting big, everything else is there. He's filling those holes. There's no doubt. What do you think is the biggest hole to fill after free agency when you look at this roster? Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell say, I got to get this done in the draft.
I would say an interior pass rush, a defensive tackle that can get after the quarterback. I think that's important, at least to me. That's what they're lacking. Another part would be linebacker. You can make that argument. Listen, Anzalone's solid. Malcolm Rodriguez, solid. We don't know. Malcolm could get even better, but it's still a weakness. They're going to have to draft a linebacker. You could make an argument as well. A guard, Glasgow, listen, 1-year deal, it's solid, it's depth, but you're going to have to address, I don't know what Vitai's future holds. I think guard's up there. And honestly, I would push wide receiver a little down, but you can make an argument still that they're going to have to address that wide receiver position. But still, it sticks to me as defensive tackle, somebody kind of opposite like a Lee McNeil, not just a run stopper, somebody that can get a consistent pass rush, because good luck double teaming Aiden Hutchinson if you have an elite defensive tackle. And then I would say linebacker. It's still both those defensive positions to me. You got to secure up.
Let me know in the comment section right now, should Jeff make a YouTube channel? Because the guy is on fire when it comes to on his own. I would love to see it, man. Make his own, make Jeff Iafrady talk by Jeff Sports. Something like that. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on it. Y for yes and N for no. I agree with you. I think defensive tackle is a massive need there. I want to finish this defensive line. We haven't had a defensive line since 2014. When we had Ndamukong Suh, we had Cliff Averill, we had Ezekiel Ansah, we had people coming off the edges and scaring the hell out of quarterbacks. It's been leaky. It's been terrible since then. And if we can finish this bad boy off, whether you take it at pick 6 or at 18, a Kalijah Cansey, I know Adam loves him, or if they wanted to go Jalen Carter, I think that would be massive upgrade to the Lions defense as a whole. You get pressure in the middle, Jeff. Guess what? All those pieces we got in the secondary, pick, turnover, giving the football back to the top 5 offense, Jared Goff and this wide receiver core. We're talking about competing with the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers, man.
Yes, we are. And how many games, Mike, did you watch? And people in the chat can answer this too, where you're watching, especially early on with Aiden, where the whole over-pursuing thing that he was getting criticized for, a lot of that too was because quarterbacks were able to step up in the pocket because there was no pass rush on the interior. So if you're getting a consistent pass rush, either it's Jalen Carter, which to me is still a no-brainer at 6, or it's Kalijah Cansey if you trade back and get him. That it's not even just if you have James Houston, right? Aiden Hutchinson, even Aleem McNeil, and alongside him, you have one of these 2 defensive tackles. My goodness, what it would do for your defensive line, and then by default would help your secondary that you just spent money on. That's already significantly better. Like now we're talking about a top 15 defense, top 10 defense, hopefully. And again, you saw what they did down the stretch with a more productive defense. But Mike, if it's even better than that, 8-2 down the stretch, I mean, that looks like a realistic possibility for the first 10 games.
Yeah, we're looking at, okay, everyone says you're going to win the NFC North. That's fine and dandy, but if you get a top 15 defense like you're saying, we're talking about, can we win the NFC Championship? That's what we're talking about there. We know this offense is fire. If that defense can just go from 32 to 15, my God, imagine if last year our defense was ranked 15 from week 1. It would be over with. We win the NFC North.
Just force a punt, Mike.
Yeah.
Just force a punt against Seattle. That's all you got to do.
One punt against Seattle, and the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a close game. Who won the NFC? So we're getting really there. We're getting really close there. We got 2 picks in the first round, Jeff. What are you thinking the Detroit Lions do? Personally, I'm going to tell you my thought. I'm thinking they're not going to stay at 6. I think they either trade up or trade down. Why is that? Because we have 8 draft picks. And if you look at a 53-man roster, our 53-man roster is pretty stacked right now. So if you use all draft picks, you're going to have to let some of these players that you've drafted go. Either they make the practice squad or like a James Houston last year, how you had to release, but luckily he came back. So could the Lions trade up or trade down and then trade back in the first round and end up having 3 first-round picks?
So for me, there's 2 different ways that Brad can do this. I love your idea. If you want to trade up, and I'm assuming are you on the getting a Will Anderson?
Yes.
Or one of those?
Yes, bookends with Aiden.
Yes, then I'm 100% with you. I think trading up at 6 is a great idea if you can do it, especially Arizona. Arizona needs to move back and take on more picks. They need more picks, so it could be a mutual agreement there. Another thing they could do, and I know you asked me about the first round, which I'll answer, you could trade up at 48. And if you could trade from 48 to get it early in the second, I mean, there's Jack Campbell, my guy Emmanuel Forbes, someone I love very much. Those 2 players, you can open up your options. So I'm with you on trading up now. If I had to give you my input at 6, I would say 2 things. One, Jalen Carter is a no-brainer. I mean, I just want to get that out of the way too. If Jalen Carter's there at 6, if Brad and Dan, they already interviewed him, so if they're going to talk to him and it goes well, and they feel like even with the culture the Lions have now, Jalen could come in and be, I hate using the word groomed because it sounds weird, but almost going into a culture in which he doesn't, have to result and do things that, that are mistakes or make bad decisions, then I'm all for it. I mean, you watch the film, you know what Jalen Carter is. If it's not Jalen Carter, I would trade back. I mean, if you're sitting there, let's say you can't trade up and you're sitting there and there's Christian Gonzalez, Tyree Wilson, and Will Levis. Like, to me, that I would much rather trade back because it's a deeper pool of talent there rather than just being like, I got to take Christian Gonzalez because he's, I think he's the best. So either trading up or trading back is an ideal option for me. Now at 18, it gets a little spicy because to me at 18, it's more of BPA. like you can make an argument for a couple different players. Like I've had debates about a wide receiver. I've had debates about Bijan if he's there. I've had debates about a guard. Like a lot of it's BPA. If I had to give you two positions, I'd probably say defensive tackle and maybe edge at 18, because there's some good edge rushers. I mean, you got Lucas Van Ness. If you like Nolan Smith out of Georgia, there's a couple options there. So I'd probably say defensive players both in the first round. Give me a tackle, give me an edge rusher, or you can do vice versa. If you get Will Anderson, maybe you go defensive tackle at 18. Maybe a Kalijah Cansey if he's there.
If you got Will Anderson and Kalijah Cansey with 2 picks in the first round, it's over. It's
Finish him.
the quarterbacks in the NFC North are going to be essing their pants, and that's why Karen Rodgers goes all the way to the New York Jets, because it's over with. It would have to be the most ridiculous defensive line that I could remember. A young defensive line that would be absolutely stunning. We got a $5 super chat from Steven, my guy, Likey. It says, hi, Jeff and Mike. Trade for defensive tackle Simmons. Then you get a Will Anderson and Nolan Smith. Follow it up with Jack Campbell. Wow, grab a guard in round 2. So Steven Likey is trying to make me go in my pants. Okay. And I am married. I'm 37 years old, so like your action gets a little bit less here. Thank you so much for that super chat. What do you think about trading for Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive tackle for the Tennessee Titans? What I was told yesterday, it's not happening, but give it a thought.
I would say no, especially how well Brad's drafted. Listen, Jeffrey Simmons is a great player, but you're going to have to pay him as well. So it's not like you're just getting, you're getting Jeffrey Simmons, but you're also going to have to fork up a deal for him. So I would say no. I get why people are interested. It's a position in need, but no, I would much rather, especially with Carter and Cansey, you're going to be able to draft one of those players. I would probably just stay away, and then you get him on a cheap deal for the next 5 years with that option. So no, I would avoid it. I'm good with keep the assets. Keep
that assets. So he wants to keep the assets for sure.
Yes, sir.
There is a player that's controversial in Lions forums and fandoms. It's the person rhymes with Bijan Robinson. Okay, this running back Bijan Robinson. What is your thoughts if he's sitting there at 18? You're like, man, what do you think about adding him with Swift and David Montgomery?
So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm more on board with Bijan than I am a wide receiver at 18. And the reason for that is, and I know you'd look at me and be like, why? Wide receiver is more valuable and you could find running backs in the second round. Well, if you look at the running back class this year, it's Bijan. You can make an argument second for Jahmyr Gibbs, and then it just kind of gets everyone in this whole category. Bijan is by far the best running back to come out of this year's class, and we all acknowledge that. The question is, David Montgomery, you sign him to a 3-year deal. I like David Montgomery, but DeAndre Swift, can you trust him? And that's the big thing. Is he going to be healthy? He's coming towards the end of his contract, and I don't know if the Lions extend him. I don't know what his future looks like for DeAndre Swift. So if I'm Brad Holmes, you can reset the clock with another. If you draft Bijan at 18, you have him for 5 years. You can get 5 good years out of Bijan, and then you can make a decision then. In today's NFL, there's not too many bell cow backs. Typically, you have 2 backs in most backfields that you utilize. Imagine having David Montgomery and Bijan Robinson in your backfield behind this offensive line. Like, you're cooking with gas, Mike. So I think the big thing that actually makes me consider Bijan, not saying he's the go-to at 18, because I don't think he'll be there, quite frankly. But if he is, you have to think about it, because can you trust DeAndre Swift to stay healthy? As talented as he is, I would argue no. But again, it is a contract year, and DeAndre could say, suck it, and go out and have 1,000 yards. I don't know. But just from past history with DeAndre, it's hard for me to just trust him. It really is.
I'm here with Jeff Ufrate here from obviously Woodward Sports, but you go ahead and click on the pinned comment right now. That's his Twitter. Go ahead and follow him on Twitter. You already know where he's at on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter, because apparently today it's Mike Ufrate, because I agree with you with the Bijan Robinson. I think his dynamic, if you were to put him behind this offensive line with a David Montgomery, the play action which Jared Goff thrives off of would be absolutely nutcase with Jamison Williams going down there. I think this offense would go from top 5 to competing with the Kansas City Chiefs, and Philadelphia Eagles is the scariest offense in the NFL. And with the defense turning the football over, giving more chances to score up points. When you put points up on teams, what do? They take more chances. They start throwing the football in the second and third half, and then you're just beating the crap out of teams at that point. You run it down their throats. I love it. I agree with you. I think I would take, if you're telling me a wide receiver or Robinson, I'm probably going to go with Robinson, even though, look, the shelf life of a running back is less than a wide receiver.
Right.
I don't care. Right now, we're in a shelf life to win big in the NFC, and we're talking the next couple of years. So let's get it done. Let's go ahead and put our foot on their throats in the NFL and just start smoking fools. The only thing I'd hate about it is our offensive coordinator be gone next year, by the way, if that happens.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. I'm with you. But another argument you can make, too, for it is even last year with Jamal Williams, and I appreciate Jamal, but even Jamal and DeAndre Swift together healthy, there would be games where they could not run the ball. So we can't sit up here and act like, oh, we have Swift, we have David Montgomery, we should be okay. Like, it doesn't hurt to add a 6 foot, 215, another guy who can do what Swift does in the pass game. Like, that's not and a guy you're going to have on a rookie deal for 5 years. Like, to your point, Mike, even if his shelf life is 5 years, if you get elite production or, great production out of Bijan for 5 years, I'll take that. But again, it could be longer than that. I don't know. I'm just going off what the average shelf life for a running back is. I don't have an issue with it. To be honest, I think if you look at wide receivers, you can find guys you like, second, third, fourth round. For the running backs, I'm just not in love with guys. Bijan, to me, is by far the best. Jameer's pretty good too, but as a pure runner, it's Bijan's he's got the entire package. He's
an ankle breaker. He is. He would be the total package right there to really set it up. I want to hear your thoughts before you go to the comments. In 5 minutes, we're going to go to you guys. Hashtag Lions, hashtag Mike, hashtag with the word hashtag whatever the hell you want to put in there. Bald Mike and great hair, Jeff. Just gives me an idea to where I can see you got a question there. But before we do that, Jeff, quarterback, what is your thoughts? I know this is going to piss a lot of people off.
I know.
Thoughts on this, man?
So, okay, because I was called a Goff hater today, which is new to me. I didn't know I hated Goff. I just found that out today. But my thoughts on it are this. Listen, I'm realistic. I love Goff. I appreciate Goff. I think he's not elite, but that's okay. You could still win with Jared Goff. I believe that. And we're in a position right now as Lions fans and people who cover the Lions, you just want to see them get to the playoffs. So I get it. Like, Jared is good enough for right now. He's at a discount. You're paying him $30 million. You got him locked up the next 2 years. But what Brad's building isn't just about the next 2 years. It's about the next 5, 10 years. So you have to start thinking logically here. So when you look at Jared and you look at Daniel Jones get $45 million, you got Jalen Hurts coming up for a contract deal. Like, these guys are going to get paid. The market's going to keep going up. So if you're Brad Holmes and you're looking at Jared Goff, he's coming off a great year, and I'll admit that. Are you going to pay Jared Goff 45, potentially more? Because if I'm Jared, I don't want Daniel Jones money. I want more than Daniel Jones money, and he should. Like, I'm not hating that at all. But if you're the Lions, what do? Do you risk losing key foundational pieces to re-sign Goff? I would argue no. Looking at what the Eagles and 49ers did this year with quarterbacks on rookie deals because their team is so stacked, listen, coaching is everything. It means more in the NFL than it does any other sport. So if you have good coaching, if Dan, Ben, Aaron, all these guys are as good as we think they are, they should be okay. So again, for Jared Goff, I appreciate him, but to at least look in the future, I think people need to be more open-minded to the idea of drafting a quarterback, because this year at 6, I would agree. I mean, especially after the Panthers trading up, it's probably not as ideal because CJ and Bryce will be gone. You got Anthony Richardson or Will Levis, so I get it. But very soon, you're going to have to be thinking about, even the Chiefs, they went to the playoffs and drafted Patrick Mahomes at 10th overall. So it's something I think the Lions are going to have to look into very soon. But again, that doesn't mean I hate Goff.
For sure. Look, we got a guy in here, he's all crying, so I'm going to hide him from the channel because I don't play around with these guys. But generally I do. When they do the funny stuff, I get the clown music going on. But I agree with you. I think, look, if there's an option to get a guy to develop, I have no problem with that. It's BPA. Quarterback, anybody, any position is best player available. I was very hard in saying we should get Justin Herbert before that draft, the Jeff Okudah draft. Everyone said, no, we got Matthew Stafford. I said, trust me, this guy is a very good quarterback. I
Should've
don't
listened to
care.
Mike.
I said I don't care if we got Stafford. It's BPA. God dang it, we got Jeffrey Okudah. So, and that's the type of stuff that happens. But I love what Goff's doing. I think he is the man for this job this year. And if there's no quarterback better than him, hell, I'm not. Don't take a quarterback. Go BPA, quarterback, whatever position it is. You do that as BPA. Folks, if you got questions, put it in the comment section right now. #Lions, #whatever. I'm going to put it up for you, and we're going to have fun. See, just like that. Let's see. Does it pop up? There it does. So go ahead, put the hashtag in the comment section. We are going to get it. This guy is the clown right here. These two corn guys are hard to watch. Here. I had to show him out there, and so we can get some laughs for him. So in the comment section, show love to Jekyll Morden. Right there. Jekyll Morden. Do one-word reaction to him in the comment section. It could be a-hole. It could be prick. It could be clown. Blow up the comment section with those words. Show him your love. First question here that we got is from John Kapler. #Jeff and Mike. What do you think of Adam Beydoun versus Mike Valenti, Detroit Lions Talk? It will be the best 10-minute segment ever. Wants Woodward and wants on 97 won the ticket. What do you think about that?
Listen, I think Adam would run circles around Mike Valenti. Like, if I'm being real here, I think Adam Beydoun, he's one of the most talented guys I've ever talked to. I love Adam. He's one of my best friends. And I'm maybe I'm a little biased here, but yeah, he's I know people hear all the stuff he says and it's hilarious, but in truthful, Adam is he's the man.
He's a awesome sweetheart behind the scenes. Trust me, he donated $500 in front of me for a cancer society. He's like, you know what? I'm going to donate some money. $500 right off rip. That's the stuff you don't see on camera. #Lions. Is there an offensive line worthy of this 6th pick? Do you think the Lions should take an offensive lineman at 6th? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think there's worthy?
So I don't know about at 6. Now, if you trade back and you're at 9, 10, 11, whatever it is, and you take a Peter Skronsky, I'm not gonna hate it because I can at least see what you're thinking. We're gonna make a strength and even more of a strength. But if I'm being honest, Mike, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't, want Brad's head if he did.
I wouldn't cry for sure because if you look at they want to keep building the strength, and next year, what is Taylor Decker gonna be? That's something you got to think about. Not going to cry about it, but I'm with you. If I'm going to do it, maybe trade down a little bit because there's a couple offensive linemen I think are very close ranked regarding their use on the offensive line here. Devin Davis, #FGB. If we don't draft a quarterback this year, we're definitely getting one next year. If we don't draft a quarterback this year in any round, I will be absolutely stunned and shocked out of my pants. What would you be? I think they are no matter what. I'm not saying they're going to get one in the first round, but I'm saying we got round 5, 6, 3. We got round 2. They can do that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Hendon Hooker in the middle rounds is like a realistic possibility, and it's something that I'm actually rooting for because now I've moved off to quarterback at 6 talk. I mean, you got Will Levis in AR-15. I'm good. But if you can get Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round, I think he'll go higher than that. But I'm just saying 3rd round. Maybe they want him in the 2nd round. I would love it. I think taking a quarterback late in the draft is a must. I'm with you, Mike. They even mentioned that they need somebody behind Goff, not named Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah. Nate Sudfeld. It reminds me if I got a cold, I got to take some Nate Sudfelds to feel a little bit better out there.
Yeah,
even though it's just not working, man. That's not NyQuil. That's not even NyQuil. I'm with you. Look, I like Hendon Hooker. I was told at pick 55, that's where they're looking to get him. But if you look at recent mock drafts, you have him now going in round 123 to the Minnesota Vikings. And I talked to a bunch of Vikings fans. They want to draft him really bad behind Kirk Cousins this year because Kirk's not coming back over there, they believe, for next year. So I'm with you, though. I would love to get Hendon Hooker in the round 2. That would be ideal for sure. Alex Haggerty says, #Lions, do you think that there's any validity to bringing in guys who have been here with previous regimes, Glasgow, Marvin, to be ambassadors for the Lions when they leave the team? No, I don't think that personally. I just think they're available for what we need. DJ Chark leaves, we need a wide receiver. Come in, Marvin Jones Jr., literally the same stats, nearly the same size. Evan Brown goes to Seattle, we need a guard. Glasgow, come on back in here. Jalen Reeves-Maben, I don't know.
Yeah, right. No, and Mike, you that was the honest answer, and it's truthful. But the other part of it I think is significant is, can we talk about former Lions players returning to the Lions? Like, that's significant as well, because that typically does it, especially Lions players that were a part of different regimes, very bad regimes.
Yeah. It's crazy, man, coming back. And especially I feel bad for Marvin Jones Jr. He had to go from Matt Patricia to Urban Meyer. Good God. Look, if he's still in the league after that, he's got some experience here he can bring to this team. But, yeah, you're right, man. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Glasgow. Dan Campbell coming back. 2008. So we just don't want Matt Patricia to come back. We don't want Quinn to come back. That's a no-go over there. Maybe Titus Young. He's definitely a great mind, and he's good at punching heads, I heard. Overtime 313. What's up, Jeff? What's up? Hypothetically speaking, if Anthony Richardson falls past 6, would you trade up with the number 18 pick to get him? First off, there's no way I see that happening. I think he's a top 3 pick. I think a team will probably trade up with Arizona, or top 4 if Arizona stays, or if the Lions trade up. But if he was to fall past that, would you trade for AR-15? This is a difficult one. What do you think?
Yeah, because I'm going against my own opinion on Anthony. I'm not a huge Anthony Richardson fan, but I honestly, if you're talking about value, and you're spot on, I think he's a top 5 pick. If he's there close to 18, I mean, if Brad trades up and gets him, technically that's value. A guy who's projected to go that high and he's still there, so I can see it, but I would prefer they do not. But I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it. Imagine on 4th down, 4th and 1. It's automatic first down because we go for it so much. So he could sit behind Jared Goff, but man, we're always going for it on 4th down, and he runs out there and get the first down. Big body, just a massive beast. Holy God.
He's a freak.
He's just huge, man. He's like DK Metcalf as a quarterback. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah. So there's no way. There's just no way that, look, it's not Mike Tannenbaum's mock draft where he's going to get drafted way late. I don't see that happening. I think, like you said, top 5 draft pick. Hugh Janus, great name here, says #Lions. Do you think Tyree Wilson is a boom or bust player? I don't think he is at all. I think he's a good player. I think he's got the physical attributes, but he's good stopping the run. Is he elite at rushing the passer? I don't believe so, but I don't think any of that. I think he'll be a good, solid player. And if the Lions took him, if they're forced to take a player at 6, Carter, they're not going to take for whatever reason, or he's not there. Same with Will Anderson. I would go with Tyree Wilson then at that point. I think he'd be a solid player, help stop the run, getting to the passer. What do you think about Tyree?
I wouldn't hate it. I mean, any effort to bolster this pass rush, I'm all for it. I think the only thing I'm concerned about, and I guess the bust part of it, would be his injury concerns. So if you draft him and he's injury riddled, that's part of it. But to your point, I mean, you're at the very least, if he's healthy, you're getting a semi-productive player. So I wouldn't hate it, honestly. It's a position in need. So I'm all for it.
For sure. I totally agree here. Let's see here. And if I miss your question, just repost it. I'm going to miss it. Why? Because there's almost 400 of you in the building right now. It's going to happen. Michael Brevort, question. Who would you trade up for between our pick 18 and 48? I'm going to tell you right now, and we talked about this player a little bit. Bijan Robinson. If we didn't take him at 18, you know what? I need to finish this offense completely. Let's have 3 first-round picks. Bijan Robinson with this offensive line, and the play action just scares the hell out of teams because that's what Jared Goff is really good at. And guess what? Bijan can also receive the football as a wide receiver. So you would have, imagine this. You're standing there on offense. You got DeAndre Swift on one side, Robinson on the other, a couple receivers. What does the defense do? What does the defense do? Or you got Bijan in the back, and you know what? I'm going to put Swift in with him. What do? I think that is a great problem to have. Is there a player you would trade up for? Maybe it's Robinson or someone else.
So mine would be from 48. If you can jump, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but 2 players I'm sold on. Jack Campbell, somebody that I think is rising up draft boards. You can get him probably early 2nd round if he doesn't go late 1st. The other one would be Emmanuel Forbes because I don't know if they dress the corner at 6 or 18. So if you want to get a corner, if you want to get a linebacker, you trade up for either of those 2 players. So those are the 2 I'm marqued on or locked in on.
Folks, we are 15 likes away from an ultra combo. So hit that like button right now. We're at 85. Like to get to 100. Here's a little taste. That's the combo breaker. You get to 100, we're going to do the ultra combo, and that's what it's all about. Hey, Grandizer reminded me. He's always reminding me. I love it, man. Appreciate you. Hashtag win the North. Do you think Jack Campbell goes in the first round? I do now after the NFL Combine. Yeah. I was very high on him. Week 4, all this last season, I said I would love to have Jack Campbell here. He was rising. NFL Combine happened. It's like, man, I think he may go in round 1. I love Jack Campbell. He is the prototypical linebacker, Spielman type of guy. You put him with Alex Anzalone and Malcolm, come on specific downs. Jeff, that defense would be ridiculous.
Yes, it would. Real quick, too, shout out to 9 Drinks in the chat. See him in the Morning Word Show every morning. And Dab Daddy, Jeff, what's your OnlyFans account name? All right. I don't know what's going on here. I don't even know how that got brought up. I don't have an OnlyFans account, so I will not be giving you a name. But Jack Campbell, to speak on him real quick, yes, I believe he'll go late in the first round. He killed the Combine, and on top of that, he's good in coverage. You could argue he's one of the best, if not the best linebackers in this class. He's a thumper. He's big, physical, strong. Again, a guy that I would love on the Lions, but I think other teams are going to fall in love with him, to your point, Mike. So I could see him going late in the first.
Yeah, he's a high riser. And luckily, though, if you want a linebacker, there is a ton of talent. Late first, early second round talent there. You talk about Drew Sanders, Trenton Simpson, who I like, Hanley, I like. There's a lot of guys in there. Overshown, I've talked about him a year ago. I said he was a sleeper. He ain't a sleeper no more. DeMarvin Overshown is blowing up draft boards. He could probably go now in round 3, potentially. Noah Sewell, I think he's dropped a little bit. You could probably get him in round 3 or a late second round. A lot of quality linebackers out there that we can get. Folks, we hit over 100 likes with 400 in the building. That deserves a... Ultra Combo Breaker! One more time. Appreciate you guys getting to 100 likes, man. God, you ever play that game, Killer Instinct? It's one of my favorites.
No, I did not. But I love the sound effect.
Oh man, I love that game. I played it when it was Super Nintendo, then it went to N64, and now I got it on my Xbox. I love Killer Instinct. It's a killer game. It's like a Mortal Kombat, same type of thing there. Yeah. I played Mortal
Kombat. Never played Killer Instinct.
Come here. All right, that's some good stuff there. Hashtag FGP. Do you think Jameson Williams should take 0 now that it's available? Still don't like number 9 on him. I know a lot of people don't like that number 9 on him because it was from Stafford. I think if there's one person to take the 0, it would be Jameson Williams. What do you think about the number 0? Who do you think takes it?
So I don't really get people's obsession with numbers and how they look on players. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you. I guess if you're wearing 0, you kind of open yourself up to criticism if you stink because you're wearing 0. But other than that, I don't really care. Like Jameson wearing 9, I know people are offended. Listen, it was Matthew's number. It's Jameson's now. It's a new era. I don't really think too much of any of these things, but like, I mean, a lot of people, you can get offended over anything nowadays. So I guess numbers are the end all be all. But for people who are watching football forever, I get it. I mean, you're used to certain positions having certain numbers. And now you're going to start seeing, random guys wearing 0. It is what it is.
Yeah. A lot of people get offended over little things. Look, number 9, we appreciate what he did here. He won a Super Bowl over there, but we're now with Jared Goff. So, and 9 right now is with JMO. If we trade up to pick 3, Anderson or Carter, I think it'd be for Will Anderson. I do believe Jalen Carter falls to 6. I personally believe they're not taking him. That is my thought. Would I take him? Probably, yeah. But if we're to trade up, I think it would be for Will Anderson because he has 0 character flaws. You know the motor that he's going to bring, and he's probably the first defender off the board. What do you think? If the Lions were to trade up, would it be for Carter or Will Anderson?
So I'm reading by the way, your audience is hilarious. This chat just keeps going, by the way. Shout out to everyone in the chat. But I would say Will Anderson. I think that's the obvious one. I'm with you. Jalen Carter, I think you'll have an opportunity to get him. The Raiders already came out and said he's completely off their draft board. So the fact that the Raiders said that where they're picking must tell most people that they have an idea he'll be there for the Raiders. So I would say Will Anderson, no doubt. He's not falling past Arizona, in my opinion.
No, unless Arizona trades back, I think that if they stay there, it's Will Anderson. That is going to be the pick. I think it definitely goes C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Anderson. We don't really know what the Colts are going to do. They're going to trade for Lamar Jackson. If they don't, it's probably AR-15. And then you look at Seattle Seahawks. Who knows what they're going to do. So that's kind of how the way I see it. We got Matty P. Apparently Matt Patricia here says, #Mike, which players would upset you if we took at 6 and 18? Upset me at 6. It's hard to really upset me at 6. I think it would upset me if we didn't trade back. I don't know if it really upset me. That's just what I want. I think you get Tyree Wilson there. I'd be fine with that. If they really wanted to go Jalen Carter, I'd be absolutely fine with that if somehow Will Anderson's there. A lot of defensive players I think would be fine for sure. 18, if they went tight end, I'm going to be pissed. All right? I don't think we need a tight end. Everyone mocks tight ends to us. What in the hell is up with everybody in tight ends? Jeff, are you with me? Are you tired of tight ends? Only if you go to a gym and there's a female workout warrior, tight ends are good. But when it comes to football in the Detroit Lions, we don't need that right now.
Okay, I agree with both those statements. But with the tight end, if you talk about tight ends, let's go in the NFL right now. Let's take a trip through memory lane, Mike. All right, you got Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Dalton Schultz. I mean, you could go down the list. It does not matter what tight end. Most of the tight ends you're going to name are drafted past the first round. It is what it is. I mean, this is where we're at right now in the NFL. So you have T.J. Hockenson, but other than that, you're getting the guys that are found later in the draft. I mean, even Darren Waller to a certain extent. You have Kyle Pitts and you have T.J. Hockenson. So I'm with you. Stay away from a tight end at 18. It makes no sense. I think there's going to be good value for tight ends if you're taking one second, third, fourth round, whatever it is. So I'll pass. Now, what would frustrate me? Will Levis or Anthony Richardson at 6. I think I'd have a hard time swallowing that, even though it's Brad. It is what it is. Or 18, it'd have to be a tight end. I'm with you.
Yeah, man, I'll just do. I'm done. We take a tight end. I'm done because it wouldn't make no sense to me. Show some love to Yoga Pants in the comment section. Everybody loves Yoga Pants. Throw some love to Yoga Pants. Lions Kool-Aid, #FKaren. I agree with you. Do you think that J-Mo is going to be a superstar? I think he is. I know a lot of people were mad. He liked the Lamar post. Oh, he's got a little diva in him. Look, I still think he's I think he's young, folks. I think he could be talented. Play action, blow up. Remember, last year, they slowly worked him in. He didn't have a training camp, didn't have no mini camps, didn't have an offseason with Jared Goff. It's different this time. You got all that. I think he is going to be a superstar. I think he's going to be a kick-ass wide receiver. And, years to come, they're going to say this is one of the scariest threats in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we could just start with where he was drafted. I think if you draft a wide receiver where he was drafted, you trade up to get him number 2. Yes, he should be a superstar. You saw flashes. He touched the ball, 3 or 4 times, I believe. 2 catches, 3 catches. And he had like a rushing, 40-yard rush. So he's got basically every time he's touched the ball, Mike, he's got 40 yards. So hey, listen, I'm not a genius, but that's a pretty good thing. So you see the big playability. Now we just need to get the chemistry part with Jared Goff, which he'll get this summer. So I would say, yes, it's fair. You should expect him to be a superstar.
Trinon Kaysen, do you think they'll get the deal done with Calais Campbell? No, because he just signed with the Atlanta Falcons. I think it was yesterday. So he's not going to come in here. #Lions, what are the odds the Lions get more than one defensive tackle? I don't think they get more than one. I think they just get one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, let's just start with who you re-signed, right? Bugs, you have Aleem, you're bringing another one, and then you have Levi Ozarike, who's somewhere in the background that we don't know if he's coming back to be 100% healthy. So I would say no. I've seen mocks with Jalen Carter and Kalijah Cansey in the first round. Although, listen, don't get me wrong. It sounds intriguing. I know what you're doing with it, Mike. You got to calm down. Trust me, I know it's exciting. But really, my God. It just doesn't make sense. But yes, listen, I wouldn't say. I would say one defensive tackle.
Yeah, for sure. One makes sense for there, unless you're getting like a universal player that can play inside and outside. That's something a little bit different.
Right.
But if you're talking straight DT, I think it's just one. Matty P here again. It says, #Mike, quarterback aside, do you expect our picks at 6 and 18 to be day one starters? I'm going to surprise you, and I'm going to say no. I think that they got so good right now with the depth at this position that there's a possibility at 18, maybe they go cornerback, and he's not necessarily a day one starter because you got Sutton, you got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you got Emmanuel Moseley and Jerry Jacobs, and we don't know what's going on with the Kudos. So I think it's possible one of these guys are contributors, but not a day one straight starter that's going to be on every single play. I think that's possible. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Corner is the point I was going to go to, because if you draft a corner, I mean, is he going to be your starter right away? I would argue no. And he said quarterback aside. So yes, I think it's fair to not expect both of them to be starters, but definitely that 6th overall pick. I think he's definitely going to be a starter.
James Buchanan says, #FGP. I would trade the 6th pick down to 9 or 12 and get the 2nd this year. I'd draft Simpson with my 18th. I'd draft Cansey or Bryce and trade 2 to the 2nd round picks back into the 1st round draft Bijan. Well, James, hey, he's a trader. He's absolutely a trader. Hey, I got to say, man, I like aggressiveness. I like being aggressive. That's what Brad Holmes was last year, Jeff, jumping from 32 all the way down to 12.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here, but I don't hate it. I can't say I hate the players either, so it is what it is. We'll see. Brad, hey, listen, never count out Brad. He makes deals. If he wants a player, he'll go get him.
You know what I'd do? I'd trade out of 6. I'd go to 11, and then when I got to 11, I'd trade back up to 6.
Then you trade with Arizona, and then you go to 3. Yeah, see,
trade back.
Yeah,
I was watching a mock draft yesterday with my guy Broshmo, and the Baltimore Ravens traded all the way up. I think it was to 6, and then right after that, another team they traded down all the way down to where they're at. I'm like, what the hell just happened there? Reminds me of that. It's a perfect move.
I've seen some crazy mocks.
Yeah, that's draft day. That's the movie Draft Day right there. $2 from Devon Davis, Super Chat. Love you, man. He says, #FGB, yoga pants are the best invention ever made. Yes, they are. Look, it's going up there with bread in the wheel. Gotta love yoga pants. Gotta love yoga pants.
You said bread in the wheel. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty important things. Those are pretty important things. So you know what? I'd agree with you. Yoga pants, they're definitely a great invention.
99-cent super sticker for Philip C. I appreciate you, man. You are a real one. Show some love to Philip C. as well as my guy Devon Davis in the comment section. Dan, I am doing great. McGinnis. Hey, I'm doing great. I'm sure he's doing great too, I think. I mean, look at his hair. Damn. Wish I had his hair.
Dude, these comments, by the way, I'm just reading these comments. I'm dying laughing. I really am, man.
They're so these subscribers are so inventive. I absolutely love it. They come up with the craziest stuff. Craziest name. We got Huge Anus. We got Man Bear Pig. We got Jeff's OnlyFans account manager. Absolutely love it. I've seen some I'm Mike's son. I'm in love with Mike. It's just some great stuff out there. And we appreciate it. Make sure you go to Woodward Sports here in about 8 minutes. The heavyweights are on. I love those guys. Sure. Speak easy, baby, and Spenmo Rax. He is, I'm not going to lie, man. When I look at Spenmo Rax, I feel like he was born in a manger, that there was a star over him about 2,000 years ago. I think he had 3 kings and wise men around him. The guy is just absolutely stunning. So you got to check that out here in about 5 minutes. Also, follow Jeff on Twitter. What is your Twitter handle, man?
Jeff Ifrady. Check me out. That's all social media. Instagram, Twitter, I mean, hell, anything. YouTube, just Jeff Ifrady. And you'll find my other stuff that I'm doing. But I appreciate all the love, man. I mean, even though people reading I'm reading some of these comments, even this one you put up on the screen here. Yo, Jeff, can't wait to see you and Adam tomorrow. Even though it's from Jeff's OnlyFans account manager, which I promise you I do not have an OnlyFans account. I love it. Oh, gosh. Well, what was that one? Wait, what was that comment? What did he say?
I have no idea. Unfortunately, as you know, the queue goes really quick because he's got the same program that I use, and you know it goes really quick. We'll have to re-see it there. Mike, do you see a world where we draft Bijan and keep Swift? For this year, yes. For next year, no. Swift would be gone. I think Swift's gone after this season anyways, regardless of what happens. I don't think he's going to be here. What's your thoughts on DeAndre Swift, the future with the Detroit Lions?
No, I think it's unclear, to be honest with you. I think this is a huge year for DeAndre Swift. He has to come out and be productive, and not only that, be healthy. I think number one, be healthy. That's the most important part because we know DeAndre, when he's healthy, we've seen tons of flashes. And it seems like you see these highs of DeAndre where he comes out and he plays really well like he did against the Eagles, or then you'll see other games where he completely lays a dud. So it's a mix of both. I think health is important, but also I just need consistency out of DeAndre to even consider him to be a part of the future. To be honest.
Darren says, are you talking about the effing Lions or what, dumb ass? First off, I'd like you to at least make the sentence readable. Then I know what's going on there. So, look, if you're going to call me a dumb A, you got to make the sentence correct. It is what it is, man.
They are who we thought they were.
There's no doubt about it right then and there. Let's see, right there. Hashtag, I personally don't see all the hype surrounding Tyree Wilson. Not to discredit him, his snaps on tape look rather slow. Thoughts on Tyree Wilson as a prospect? Do you think he's overhyped? Do you think he's underhyped? What is your thoughts?
I don't want to say he's overhyped because you look at the edge rushers in this class. I think Tyree Wilson deserves to be in it just because of the freak build. I mean, you're 6'6", you move him inside, you play him outside. Like you said, he's good against the run. I think he can get better rushing the passer, but even his stats being what he is right now, it's still pretty impressive. So to me, I don't think he's overhyped. I think the injury concerns are real, but he's a good player. He deserves to go top 10.
Biggin Davis, $5 super from my guy. Thank you so much, man. Show some love to this real one right here. Would you take Jack Campbell at 18? Some may consider that a reach, but if you really like Campbell, why? Why would I like him a lot. Look, if it's BPN on the board, yeah. I think I'll probably trade down a little bit. I think it is a little bit at 18, but you want to know it. He is a damn good player. And I wouldn't cry about it. I think I'd trade down a little bit. I think you maybe get him like at 25. So if you're to trade back a little bit, always want more draft capital, whether it be for this year or next year. That's my thoughts. What would you be upset if they took Jack Campbell at 18?
I would at 18, and I think you nailed it. If you trade back and you can get him, I was just having a conversation with somebody at the office today about that. I actually don't mind it because I do believe Jack's going to go late in the first. I would be shocked if he's there in the second. So if you need a linebacker and you don't really like who's there at 18, trade back and get a Jack Campbell. I wouldn't hate it at all.
I got to agree with this guy's statement right here. Oren here says, is this draft more difficult to predict than the previous two drafts in the Brad Holmes era? I got to tell you what. Brad Holmes, if he plays poker, he's a winner in Vegas. Because I have no freaking idea what he's going to do in this. I had a hard time last year and the year before, but now this is absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea really what they're going to do.
Yeah, part of that's picking at 6'2", because when you're at 2 and you know, well, if Aiden's there, it's a no-brainer, and it's pretty much between Aiden and Kayvon Thibodeau. Now this year, it's like it's like so many different guys. It's a little more deeper of a pool, especially the top 10. So, you know, it's a lot of I like it because it makes for conversation and debates. But yeah, you're spot on. It's much harder to read Brad this year. He's not leaking out too much.
He tells you stuff, and he's not. He's the greatest politician. He would be great over there, just spitting words out.
And then Dan's the opposite, I feel like. Dan just kind of tells you, he'll just pretty much say, yeah, Jared Goff, he's our guy, man. I love Jared Goff. Like, he'll tell you what. Dan's so real, and that's what I appreciate about him. Like, Brad's a little more calculated. Dan's just like, hey.
2 days ago, Brad Holmes says, wide receiver, it's something that we may look at. Dan Campbell, yesterday, or it was the day before, says we need a receiver. Totally complete opposite. One's trying to be coy about it. One's like, yeah, man, we need it right now, man. Yeah. It's hilarious, man. It's yin and yang, and it works together. It just does. It does. They're probably best friends. It's just fantastic. We got a $10 super from Canton Phil 75. Says, hey, guys, what do you think about the plan will be for adding a linebacker in the draft? Thank you so much for that $10 super. You are freaking awesome. Show some love to Canton in the comment section. I think it's round 2. I think that is the plan for linebacker. I think they'll probably go for Jack Campbell, but they have spent time with Trenton Simpson. They visited him. They met with him. Now, if you look at Brad Holmes, he drafts 50% of people that they pay attention to, whether it be a pre-draft visit or all that, and they spent a lot of time with Trenton Simpson, so that could be an option. What do you think at linebacker to finish this out for the show?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Jack Campbell scenario, but if not, yeah, you're trading up in the second round to get him. Trenton Simpson's a great option. Jack Campbell, assuming he's gone. Diane Henley, there's a couple guys that you can look at. So I think the second round pick you trading up is going to be a linebacker. Although I'd like it to be a corner. I want Emmanuel Forbes, but the realistic possibility is there's some good linebackers that are going to be there, and Trenton Simpson could very well be one of those players. So Trenton Simpson would be a great addition. So I think it's early second. You trade up and go get one.
Jeff, I really appreciate you jumping on the show, shooting the S here, talking some Detroit Lions football. You know, as we're about to close this bad boy, shout out Woolworth Sports, shout out your Twitter, your social media, the heavyweights, which is about to start on right now. Yep. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, always. Appreciate you, Mike, for having me on, man. I've been looking forward to it. I'm excited. Anytime in the future you want to do content, you know where to find me, my man. I'll give you my phone number. But you check me out on social media at Jeff Iafrady. You can check out From Half Court. Me and Sean do Pistons and basketball stuff. Woodward Pistons, Jeff and Gentry Show. Morning Woodward Show 8 to 10 weekdays on WoodwardSports.com or Woodward Sports YouTube. And Mike, you're a friend of me and Adam, man. You've always been real. So I got a lot of love for you, and I got a lot of love for the content you put out. It's great. So appreciate you having me a lot, man. Seriously.
Anytime, man. Anytime. You make me look bad with your hair, but it's all good. Love everybody. See you next week. Adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna